Hello, I'm Lawrence Chard and welcome to our Chard's Coin and Bullion Dealer YouTube channel. Now, are Chards good or bad? You can start putting your comments down below right now if you want. What do you think? According to 99% of our customers, we are excellent, and some people say even better than that. But according to about 1% of our customers, we are absolutely terrible and possibly the worst thing since sliced bread, if that isn't a mixed metaphor. So, we like feedback from our customers. We encourage it, and it does a couple of things. It's dual purpose. It lets us know what the customers think about us and about our products, about coins, and we can have good discussions. It also gives us the opportunity, when it's needed, to actually inform and educate our customers, sometimes by selling ourselves a little bit, telling them how good we are. Nobody likes people bragging, really, but we try very hard to be good and the best and to be excellent. And when we get good people buying from us, we want to keep those people as customers and we want a good relationship with them. So this is important. Now, all this communication works really well when it's face-to-face in our showroom. It also works when we're dealing by telephone, but it's not quite as good and not quite as easy, and it's not quite as effective by telephone because you can't see people. Actually, video stuff would be better, wouldn't it? But it's still pretty good. And what we found is that, or what I suspect, is that when the communication becomes more remote, then it's not as good and you don't get the same rapport with each other. And there can be misunderstandings or a difference in perception or expectations. And when this is done over, say, the internet, and actually when it's done by mail or mail order, it's not that easy, but we've been doing that for years. When it's via the internet and it's online, it's more remote because in a lot of cases, people have just gone online, maybe found a product they want, gone, yep, buy that. And they've not read our terms and conditions that we ask people to sign for before they order. And very often they've not read what the product is or the size of it, or what good value it is, or the fact that we quote prices without postage and the postage is shown separately. Sometimes people expect new coins to be absolutely perfect, which is not an unreasonable thought, but it's not necessarily correct. Not all coins are created equal. Also, I think some people assume that because we're on the internet, we're going to be like Amazon and they'll get next day delivery. Or maybe even same-day delivery. And what's more, if they decide to order pizza, it can be around at their house in 20 minutes. So sometimes people have expectations that because we're a reasonably modern company and we're reasonably large for a small specialist business, we'll be like Amazon and we'll be that hot. We never claim to be. We never aim to be. We aim to give good value. We sell genuine coins. We aim to establish trust. We speak to people honestly. We're transparent about our business. We give good value. Nowhere on that list do I ever say, or we ever say, hey, we'll get it to you before you even wanted it. Anyway, where was I? Now I've waffled on for a couple of minutes. What we're going to talk about today, more specifically, are Trustpilot reviews. And when I had this idea, I thought, okay, what we'll do is, in the first video, we'll highlight at least one of our recent 5-star reviews, and we'll actually talk about at least one of our 1-star reviews. Now, we looked at our most recent reviews, and there were 4 there on the page. I don't think we need to talk about them individually. They speak for themselves, but perhaps I'll let my voice have a rest, and I'll let Christian read what the customer said about us.
Robert says that Chards are our go-to bullion dealer. Their website is always relevant and up-to-date, so no out-of-stock disappointments. They always dispatch within the 2-day promise. And overall, they're a pleasant company to deal with.
We have responded to that. Basically, our reply almost writes itself. What can we say about that apart from thank you? And, we hope that we'll continue to have you as a happy, satisfied customer for many years to come. I would point out, if I was talking about it, that we're not perfect. And I do actually have a T-shirt and a sweatshirt that says that on it, because nobody and nothing's perfect. So, we're not perfect, but we do try, and where we aren't quite perfect, we try to be even better. Anyway, what's the next one?
So, the next review is from Elliot, and this was a few days ago. He said, I have bought 4 items over 2 separate orders, and it's been flawless. I myself have never had an issue for the short time I've been buying from Chards. There is one person in my family who had a small issue, and it was resolved promptly and professionally. This is what actually made me buy from Chards, and from the experience I've had, I will only really be buying from Chards. I couldn't recommend these enough.
That's fantastic. What more could you say? Except, does he want a job doing our PR work for us? No, I think that's a particularly good one, because it highlights the fact that we're not perfect. We had a problem with a relation of him. What the problem was, I don't know. We've not looked, we've not asked. I don't think we even know who the relative was. But I think it says a lot for businesses and for the customers as well, if there is a problem, or when there is a problem, whether it gets resolved and how it gets resolved. In this case, we've obviously done what we needed to do to resolve the problem. Perhaps the relation had a misconception or a misunderstanding or whatever, but it got sorted out, so it was all amicable, to the extent that he recommended to, what's the name of this chappie?
Elliot.
That we were good, and Elliot's with us since. So that is great. That's over and above the call of duty, as far as I'm concerned.
The next one is from customer Dave, and his title is 10 years and still going back. So this is quite a long one. I've been dealing with Chards for a little over 10 years now, so it's time to leave a review. When it comes to customer service, these guys set the bar for others to follow. They work on knowledge, honesty, transparency, and trustworthiness. Where reputation means everything, and investing in precious metals is where these guys come into their own in trying to get you the best deal for your hard-earned savings. I love the fact that they put an open and honest videos up showing about scams and things to avoid and alike. Speaks volumes about them, in it for the long term, which is rather rare in today's world. I've nothing but kind words for Chards and look forward to dealing with them again in the near future.
Oh, again, that's a fantastic one. What else can we say? I don't know what we've responded on that. Anybody else can have a look in any case. So I hope we said thank you very much. 10 years is a long time, and I don't know how many orders, presumably a lot. It's interesting that it's taken him 10 years to get round to just doing a review, but that's okay. I don't mind. It's a voice of experience, isn't it? So I just hope that we continue to be spot on, and that he continues to believe in us, and that we will try to give him every reason to. Funnily enough, though, the word service came in there, and we don't actually go out on a limb to say our service is fantastic, and particularly the bit about speed. We're not about same-day delivery or next-day delivery. We're about getting good value for people, especially when they're buying an investment. But even if they're buying, a coin, and the quality and the authenticity of it is important, then I think good service is actually making sure that happens, not making sure that we just do it quick. Quick is probably the enemy of good in a lot of cases. So thank you very much. What's the fourth one there, Christian?
So the final one we've got here for today's video on the 5 stars is from Michael, and this was a few days ago. The title is Chards are the best value for investors. He writes, Chards are the best value for investors looking to purchase at the best rates and minimise the premiums we pay to maximise returns. He's then, which is quite interesting, he's done his own little price comparison on the review here, and he's put today at 8:30 a.m. on the 19th of August, a 1-ounce Gold Britannia from Chards cost £2,522. He's wrote here that Atkinson's are £2,540, which is a plus £18 on our price. Hatton Gardens, 2565, which is £43 more than we were asking on that day. Cardiff Gold, 2607, which is £85 more than Chards were asking. And at the bottom, we've got the Royal Mint, who it says £2,627, which is £105 more than Chards were asking for a 1 ounce Gold Britannia on the date that he purchased.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much for that price comparison. I did read that actually yesterday, the day before, because I made a few notes before we did this video, and it looks like I've compiled a dossier, and this isn't all of it, believe it or not. So that's our recent 5-star ones. Excuse me. It's interesting because we had a short intermission now while I got these notes back in front of me. And while you were reading that to me, I was wondering if those prices were including postage or not, because we show the product price separately and we show our postage price separately. We don't roll them in together and then misleadingly tell people that it's free postage. So there would be £6 or £7 postage on an order for one ounce gold bullion coin. But even with the postage included, we're still the cheapest by quite a long way on those. So thank you, Michael, for that glowing reference. And if you want value, that's good. Right, so that's the good. How about the bad? So, what do we have here? Have we got a screenshot of one of these, Christian?
I'm sure we can source that, yeah.
Okay, so this is some Trustpilot user calling himself Graham White. We don't usually name customers, but when somebody uses their name on Trustpilot and states their facts and gives us a 1-star review and is slightly uncomplimentary and, in my opinion, unfair, then I think it's actually fair for us to actually be able to defend ourselves. And if somebody wants to read the review, they can go to Trustpilot and they can find the review. So let's have a look. I ended up printing 3 out because there was one from the 17th of June where the guy said, poor, said they would ring me back after bad experience with my coin delivery, never heard from them since. You were supposed to be reading these, not me. On this one, we've got the reply, and it says, Mr. White, following several telephone conversations in January, you requested the closure of your account and advised that you no longer wished to deal with Chard, citing that we did not meet your expectations due to a delivery issue. I understand this was in relation to Royal Mail's inability, I would have said failure, to deliver your parcel before 1 p.m. Unfortunately, this aspect of the service is outside of our control. I note that you have since created a new account with Chard, and I apologise if you feel your previous concerns were not fully resolved. So, yeah, this is, in my view, a customer expectation thing. This particular customer expects, I think he probably expects us to ship same day or next day. Our standard recently has been shipping within 2 days. And if somebody's paying for Royal Mail special delivery, Royal Mail guarantee delivery before 1 p.m. the next day. Now, I think everybody in the country that's not a total moron knows that Royal Mail is not perfect. I'm not perfect. If there's anybody out there that's perfect, please leave a comment, your name and details down below, because we'd like to meet you and feature you in a new video. So we use Royal Mail, and we use Royal Mail and Royal Mail special delivery because it is still, in our opinion, and we've got evidence to back that up, the best for delivering coins, money, precious metal and valuables. Even when we use Royal Mail second class or Royal Mail 48, which is one of their lower services, it's pretty good and not much goes missing, not much goes astray. It's not perfect, but with Royal Mail special delivery, yeah, again, we have very, very few losses with Royal Mail special delivery. They do happen. The world isn't perfect. When it happens, it causes us problems. And they're also quite reasonable for their pricing for that, despite the fact that postage keeps going up. their special delivery service is still good value for money. If and when we find a service that's better and more secure, and at least as secure, then we will at least try it out. Certainly we're aware that Amazon has got a very good delivery service, but we don't know how that would work if we started using Amazon for our fulfillment. And we don't know what the insurance premiums would be for covering it and how much cover we've got. So we use Royal Mail for a good reason, but we think it is totally unfair when somebody gives us a poor, a bad, an ugly, or a one-star review because Royal Mail have failed to deliver on time. We do also, by the way, offer to get a refund from Royal Mail, to lodge a complaint with them about the late delivery, to get a refund of the fee and to refund that to the customer. But it does require a bit of cooperation, and it probably costs us more to do that than the actual fee involved. But we actually feel it's important to actually hold Royal Mail responsible for that. And if everybody complained and everybody wanted a refund, he'd book their ideas up. Anyway, that was the first of his one-star reviews. The next one, we notice here it says updated 4th of July. So there was something on there previous, and I don't know how many days before that. I think it's your turn to read this one, Christian. Have you got it there? Well, hand this over and you can read that.
Yep.
Oliver, this.
So the second review that this username Graham White has put is titled My Frank Independent View. I do get an odd coin that arrives not worn and worth having, however, usually at a huge premium price though. My advice, go to bullion by post and enjoy peace of mind. Now we've responded to that saying, thank you for your feedback. We acknowledge your concerns and, as previously communicated, your previous account had already been closed at your request. This decision was made as it's clear that our grading standards do not align with your expectations, making it difficult to provide the level of satisfaction we aim to deliver. We would be happy to discuss individual coins with you prior to any future purchases, should you wish to reconsider. However, we kindly ask that you take some time to decide whether you'd like to continue dealing with us, as ongoing dissatisfaction, despite our best efforts, isn't fair to either party. We pride ourselves on honest and accurate service and do not believe we have acted improperly in any instance. We wish you all the best, and should you choose to return, we'll be here to assist with clarity and fairness on both sides. Many thanks to the team at Chard's Coin and Bullion Dealer.
Yeah, that's good for reading that and saving my voice a little bit. A little thing on that I don't actually think we answered that perfectly, but the problem is to answer that perfectly would need a ridiculous amount of management time to actually list the facts, get the timeline of things, find out what his original complaint was, and I don't think we've got any way of finding out what his previous unupdated version of that was, which is a shame. Perhaps we should have taken a screenshot, but I would probably give a slightly more robust answer, but that's good. You know, we've said to him, make your mind up whether you want to deal with us or not. And that isn't the first time that he's actually gone, I'm not dealing with you again. So on the same day, the 4th of July, he posted another one. Well, I'm done with Chard. Oh, you should read this.
So this was posted on the same day as the previous review.
Yeah, that's the 4th of July.
Another one star. Well, I'm done with Chards. He starts off, well, I'm done with Chards, always full of apologies. Coins, i.e. either late, and buyer has usually got to find where the coin is themselves. As always say, not our fault, it's Royal Mail. Well, it's their courier. I pay for delivery next day before 1 o'clock. It never happens, and Chards seem to say repeatedly, find the coin for yourself. Then they say we can sort a little compensation. It never happens in my experience. Also, I've received very worn coins repeatedly. Only time I use them now is if I order by mistake, not realising it's Chards I've ordered with. Well, until my coin doesn't arrive, that is. My advice to all, again, go to bullion by post and have peace of mind. So, we replied on the same day. I will reiterate our comment on your last review that was left earlier today. We acknowledge your concerns and, as previously communicated, your previous account had already been closed at your request. The decision was made as it's clear that our grading standards do not align with your expectations, making it difficult to provide the level of satisfaction we aim to deliver. Again, we put we'd be happy to discuss individual coins with you prior to any future purchase. However, we kindly then asked that he take some time to decide whether he'd like to continue dealing with us. So yeah, that was basically the same sort of reply as the last, but it was on the same day. So yeah, that was his third review.
Let's have that back, because I'd made a mental note of something you said there, and then I went and forgot it partway through, and I made notes of the other bits. This bit about I pay for delivery next day before 1 o'clock, and it never happens. I'm sure that's not true. It's not accurate, and if it's not honest. I'm sure that Royal Mail do sometimes deliver some of its special deliveries before 1 o'clock. And I don't think that Royal Mail just single us out for bad treatment. Maybe it's Graham's local postman who's trying to stir things up, and we could start a conspiracy theory here. This could get a bit silly. So again, you're not being accurate and you're not telling the truth here, and that annoys me. And you're publishing misinformation. I'd probably say you're lying, but that's maybe a bit harsh. And then Chard seemed to say repeatedly, find the coin yourself. I don't know what he means by that. It's rather confused. Then they say we can sort a little compensation, but it never happens. Yes, if he gets something delivered late and can provide us with the documentation to support that, we will put in a claim with Royal Mail to get the postage refunded, and we will refund it to our customer. Whether it does happen or doesn't happen or didn't happen with Graham, I don't know. And if it hasn't happened, I don't know why. But I can imagine our staff dealing with this sort of stuff and think, no, it's not him again. In my experience also, if received very worn coins repeatedly, again, I don't think that's true. If he's bought best value, secondary market or pre-owned coins like sovereigns, yes, they will be variable in condition, and we say this. But I will say something, that our threshold for quality is higher than most of our other competitors. And then this other bit about, he admits to being so confused that he doesn't even know who he's ordering from. That is laughable. Christian was laughing about it when it was there. You couldn't read it, could you, before? He had to stop and retake the shot. But it struck me as really a totally stupid thing to admit online that, if you don't know who you're buying from, well, why leave a review? Are you sure that all the crap didn't come from bullion by post? We don't know. It's hard to say, isn't it? Anyway, I'm whittling on a little bit there, but the main thrust on most of this seems to be the post office or Royal Mail has delivered at least one packet, possibly two or three, or all of them late to this customer. And I did actually look through this customer's order history since we fully computerised everything. And yeah, he's been what I think most businesses and most people would say has been a good customer, a good valuable customer. But the problem is that when somebody creates such hard work for our staff that, we have to spend a disproportionate amount of time with them, which seems to be the case with this person, it does mean that, they might become a borderline customer, and, we have a threshold to look at. If we're going to maintain good value and good service with 99% of our customers and get excellent reviews from them, we can't afford to spend 2 or 3 or 10 times the amount of time dealing with questionable customers. And I'm not saying they're bad customers. I mean, this was a good customer in some respects. But if somebody's grumpy or dissatisfied all the time and they're complaining and they're making it hard work, they become problematic. And certainly when somebody then comes on and posts unfair 1-star reviews that should be reviews about Royal Mail, not about us, then I resent it. I really do. I'm happy that we've now said to this customer, look, don't deal with us again. Make your mind up. But we'd prefer you don't deal with us again. He said it once or twice in the past. but then seems to come back from us. It's up to us for some reason. But perhaps the reason is he realises we are actually okay, but he's not going to get the chance to do that again. So I don't think we'll ever get a 5-star review from this chap because he's not going to buy from us again. There will be some people out there who don't like my comments about perhaps me naming this complainer. But, I think our reasons for doing it are good. Tell us what you think. If you want to rant and say, yeah, bullion by post are better, sure, how much dearer were they on Gold Britannia then? They were a lot dearer than us. Well, we know that. They are dearer. And their coins are not necessarily any better than ours. They may be worse. So I'm ranting on again. Shut up, stop ranting. We like feedback, and some of the feedback we like are your comments on the video. So tell us what you think. If you think you agree with the 5-star ratings, fine. If you think, oh, well, no, we don't believe them, say that. By the way, they are all genuine, honest ones, and they are real customers. We've not made them up. We don't drive people or induce them to give us a good result. The only inducement we give is trying to be good. And some people actually appreciate that so much. They will come back and go over and above in their praise, which is fabulous. It makes us feel good. And it makes our staff feel good. Sometimes they get mentioned by name.
I think as well, just while we're on that, while we're sort of ending the video, is going back to what Elliot said about the fact that his family had a genuine issue possibly that we managed to resolve. If you've got a genuine issue with an order, our customer service team will always work to resolve it in the best and fastest manner that they can.
Yep, that's something we've always said. Having said that, a quick caveat there that if you can get through to us, because...
You're that busy, yeah.
Because we've been so busy and getting busier and busier for the last couple of years, we've been struggling to keep up, which is not the world's worst problem to have. Some people out there might say, well, get more staff. Yeah, well, we're not just going to pull 50 people in. We need good quality staff. We need good quality people who can talk to customers and deal with them and, be sensible and logical and nice, have conversations with people. We don't want to employ, what can I say, uber strong salesmen. We probably all met the time. We don't do pushy sales. Don't know if you've noticed that. So if somebody comes along that says, I'm the best salesman in the world, yeah, well, okay, yeah. We certainly wouldn't employ Donald Trump, but that's getting political, so that's bound to get complaints. We'll have MAGA onto us. Sorry. No, we're not sorry. Actually, Graham did say that we're always apologising. Yeah, if we think we're wrong, we apologise. In any case, we're English. So you know what it's like? You bump into somebody in the supermarket, and if you're English, you both say, oh, sorry. It's better than coming to blows, isn't it? You bastard. So, have I answered the question? Yeah. Put your comments down there. If you agree with our 5-star reviews, they are honest, they are genuine, they are real people. Please say so. If you disagree, say so. If you agree with Graham and you think we're absolute pillocks, bastards and whatever, say that as well. We won't like it, but we'll read it. And we might answer. We do try.
We might feature you on the next video.
Yeah, we do read all the comments. We do try to respond to them. If we get thousands or millions, we may not be able to do all. So, keep them coming. Tell us what you think. If you want to buy gold sovereigns at £4 each, we got some bad news. You're too late. You should have bought them while it was on offer. And that was between 1964 and 1966. Yeah, I know I don't look that old, but that's what they were. And what's more, they were £3,500 a thousand at the time. Think about that. So that's too late. I've rambled on too long. We're going to have to cut at least 3 hours out of this video to get it down to less than half an hour. Otherwise, it'll exceed people's attention spans. That's it. That's all for now, folks. We hope to see you again. Bye for now.